All right, hello wine drinking people. We are back with more of what I had to drink yesterday in April. Pinot Noir month, Oregon month. What's going on here? We've had a number of events with Oregon Pinot Noirs. The owner of Willamette Valley Vineyards here for a clonal tasting, and then this comprehensive Oregon Pinot Noir tasting we did here in the store. Kind of started when Mr. Christopher Kovala came to me and said, man, I got these new wines I'd love to show them to some of your customers. So I said, all right, why not? We'll put a tasting on the schedule. We haven't done an Oregon Pinot Noir tasting, I don't know ever if we have. And then I said, we should invite a few friends to this, make it a little more interesting, show a wider array of wines from Oregon. And we ended up, I think, with 20 some odd wines. And we had about 30 people here. It was a really good showing, and some really nice stuff. This 2009 vintage, a really appealing vintage from Oregon. 2008, a nice vintage as well. 2007 did not get much acclaim from the critics, but I'm starting to like 2007. The better wines have a nice savoriness to them, reminiscent of Burgundy. 2006, a very big vintage also. 2008, kind of a cross between 07 and 06 to me. And then 2009, just a warm vintage, and really consumer-friendly wines. All right, well, the Yamhill Valley Pinot Noir Estate and the Reserve were on the table, both from 08. These ones are really nice, a little bit more on the lighter side, more savory side. The Reserve, of course, had a little more to it, and more of this gravelly kind of earth note, light smoky notes, a little mint. And, like I said, these two reminded me a little bit more of Old World Pinot Noir, and Oregon kind of a cross between, or right stuck in the middle between Burgundy and California. And the Soder wines, two of the wines of the night on my book, and usually they are, sometimes the people affect you if you know who they are, and Tony's been a good friend for many years, but I'd have to say, blind, I would hope I would have picked these wines as two of my favorite as well. The Mineral Springs and the Mineral Springs Ranch, a little bit confusing though, Tony, with the labeling on this wine. The Mineral Springs has got a darker color on it, and it says Ranch, and then the Mineral Springs, which is a tiny production wine. This is a new addition to the Soder lineup, a 3-acre parcel of wines, the crown of their estate in Mineral Springs Ranch. And like I said, just a little bit confusing on the label, but really killer wine. This wine's somewhat tightly wound. It really opened up nicely as the evening went on with exotic spices, smoky, kind of earthy characters, black raspberry fruit, soy, Asian spices starting to come out, along with a little caramel, toffee note, raw meats. Really lovely, silky, velvety texture. These are some of the biggest wines on the table, these two Soder wines. That lovely exotic spice, but great freshness on the finish here. That's what, if you have a big Pinot, you're worried about, the zest and fresh on the end. You're going to lose that because you gain the extra ripeness to get that sweetness. But this wine really well balanced and wears it well. Most excellent juice. This is the tiny parcel wine. The Mineral Springs Ranch I liked almost as much. And, this wine, 30 acres of Pinot Noir on a ridgetop town of Carlton, commanding views of the whole valley there. Beautiful oak trees, Douglas firs lining the road leading up to there. And the 2005 vintage was the first vintage of this wine. They made a wine called Beacon Hill before it. Once his estate fruit came online, he stopped, purchasing fruit, obviously. And this is the wine now for Soder. Cranberry and black cherry fruit on the nose with notes of Asian spices. Subdued earthy and minty notes here. Green tea-like aromas, very complex on the nose. Spicy fruit on the palate with pretty floral notes and a lovely silky texture here. Big, but also fresh and balanced. Maybe not quite as concentrated as the Mineral Springs, the smaller production wine, but excellent juice. The 09, one of the better wines on the table. All right, the Kelly Fox wines were a big hit. Kelly Fox used to be the winemaker for Scott Paul. I don't know, maybe she still is, but these three wines, very different. The Momtazi, the Marabi, and the Maresh. The Marabi was, I think, probably the favorite wine on the table this evening. And this wine, only 150 cases made, 93 cases made of the Maresh, one of the oldest vineyard sites in all the Willamette, and then just 42 cases of the Momtazi. Momtazi was my favorite of the three. Seemed to have the longest finish. Really a nice spice to this wine. Whole cluster pressing, giving maybe a little bit more oomph there, showing that spiciness and black raspberry fruit. Very nuanced, some lovely earth tones there as well. Really nice floral minty quality as well. Really it's small, soft and smooth on the tongue, but really Burgundian, a chalky, dry finish. Lots of everything, and this wine needs time, as does the Maresh. The Marabi, just the most open of the three. I think it was the lightest of the three. That's why the people liked it the best. But all three of these wines showed really well and showed their pedigree. This Maresh vineyard, the old vines, the Evansham Wood, the Haden. These wines with the Bergstrom over at the Florida Wine Company table, all really nice. We sold some of all of these wines. Congratulations, Anthony. The Bergstrom wines being some of the bigger wines on the table, really contrast in style here, and the Evansham Wood and Haden Fig wines, really light and savory, really interesting comparison of different styles there. My favorite wine was the Di Lancellotti Pinot from the Bergstrom lineup. His brother-in-law owns this vineyard. The name, that's where the name comes from. Really exotic spice on the nose. You really notice some of the new oak in these wines, but a solid core of black cherry and fruit, and a lovely earthy nuance. Nice concentration of aromas here. Thick and chewy on the tongue with lots of ripe fruit, very smooth and velvety. Dark spices, really long finish on both of these wines from Bergstrom. The Cumberland Reserve also showed really nice. 2010. Wow, really fresh juice here. 2010 Luke. The Luke wines and the Clee were a little light for me. I mean, they're pleasant wines, but definitely on the light side of Oregon Pinots, and Oregon Pinots can be light anyways. But some of the people liked these wines. The Roots wines were my favorite wines on the table here. The Crosshairs, the Cherry Grove, the Carlton Hill, the Estate, and then the Racine. Of all these wines, I liked them all. I would have to say my favorite would probably be the Estate of them, though. The black raspberry and rhubarb-like fruit, really pretty floral notes, touch of fresh earth, a little minty note there as well. Lovely floral component to the nose. Smooth and silky on the tongue with a good hand of spice. Turning a bit dry on the finish. Got some tannins here at the end, but lovely savoriness coming through and holding things together really nicely. Excellent stuff. Check it out. All the reviews from all the wines that we tasted at our Pinot Noir tasting on this email. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.